Ladies and gentlemen, I am in rare form. I am ready to go. Rapid fire. Week 11, picks and predictions, college football, guys. Let's go. We're starting on Friday. Colorado and USC. And guys, USC sitting at 34-point favorites. Colorado is simply horrific. USC will be dropping a 50-burger in this game. Kind of an interesting vibe on this one. We get the 6:30 Pacific start time on a Friday, but USC is going to annihilate Colorado. It is kind of interesting. Colorado can throw the ball a little bit. They're not horrible throwing, so I do think they get a few touchdowns, but their defense is terrible. They are, in my opinion, the worst Power 5 team. USC wins, and unfortunately for Vegas, they can't make the spread high enough. They cover the massive 34-point spread, or do they? Yeah, they would win by 40. I know how to do math, guys. Trust me. Moving to the Saturday slate, noon game, we've got Mizzou on the road at Tennessee. The Volunteers coming off that disappointing road loss to Georgia. Tennessee's a 21-point favorite. And guys, I'm not going to overreact to that road loss. I still think Tennessee's a good football team. I do believe they'll cover the 21-point spread. Feels like this game should be Tennessee minus 24 personally. They've got a really good offense. Hendon Hooker will throw 3 or 4 touchdowns. They'll get back on track. And aiding all of it will be Missouri. Missouri is just not good. They've kind of had some lower scoring games, so I guess I understand why the over-under in this game is, kind of in the mid-50s, I believe. But Missouri, not good. One of the worst teams in the SEC. Give me Tennessee. Kind of a, situation for Tennessee. They have 3 easy games to finish out their regular season, and then it's up to other teams losing, possibly, to help them get into the playoff along with Georgia. We'll see what happens, but they're going to win this game and win it big. Next, we've got the big noon matchup. I cannot believe this is what it is. Ohio State and Indiana. It's very clear that Big Noon is just obsessed with ratings. This is a 41.5-point spread, I believe, right now. I don't know how this is your Big Noon biggest matchup of the day, but guys, sometimes the solar systems align and we get the perfect situation, and that's exactly what this game is. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to capitalize on this. I am predicting the ultra rare 80 burger from the Ohio State Buckeyes. They've struggled. CJ Stroud needs to start running up his stats for the Heisman. People are talking about how bad their rushing is. They're facing an Indiana team that's already checked out. They just lost by 31 points to Penn State. Everything is aligning for an Ohio State 80 burger. If Ohio State scores 80 points, they got to be number one. I'm sorry. It would be unbelievable. 84-7. CJ Stroud throws for 7 touchdown passes in the first half. And a possible 80 burger, guys. This is a major alert, major warning. Everyone's saying Ohio State's offense is bad. Really, it's just due to the wind. This Indiana team is terrible. Ohio State's going to want to run it up. They need style points after that horrible Northwestern performance. And guys, wow, an 80 burger. We finally get it. This would be so... this needs to happen. It would be so great for college football. Next, we've got Notre Dame on the road at Navy, and this reeks of a letdown game, in my opinion. I have been one of Notre Dame's biggest fans throughout this season. I said, they were one of the most underrated teams. They proved me right. They crushed Clemson. But guys, if we actually take a look at this, the games that Notre Dame has played, they can't throw the ball. I mean, I'm going to be honest, they really can't. Now they're on the road in a noon game in a bad environment, very lackadaisical, minus 17. I don't think they cover it. They're going to eke out a victory here. Navy, surprisingly enough, just had a closer game with Cincinnati, a closer, low-scoring game. So I do like the under, even though the over-under in this game is only 42, I believe. It's just a situation where, as much as I like Notre Dame, they've got a really good defense, they've got a decent run game, they can't throw the ball right now. And Navy is a team that eats clock, lower scoring, closer than it should be. I do expect Notre Dame to be ranked. That's why I'm predicting this game, because I think Notre Dame will be in the top 25 after their win over Clemson, but it will be closer than expected. Next, we've got Liberty, who should be ranked on Tuesday. They will be taking on UConn on the road. So a little interesting thing about this one, if UConn wins this game, they make a bowl. And I think they're going to be really motivated to play it. And guys, I do have an upset. People are starting to overrate Liberty. This is a Liberty team that about a month ago almost lost to Gardner-Webb, who was an FCS school. I understand they beat an SEC team in Arkansas. It's a very nice win. It just feels like this is the type of upset where it's lower scoring. It's a noon game. This is a UConn team that's gotten momentum into their program. Watch out for UConn to make a bowl, win this game over Liberty. Program-changing victory. And also, it's another situation. I do think Liberty is worse than 8-1. And it's kind of like a self-correct type thing. So that's why I'm going with UConn as the 2-touchdown underdog to win that game outright. LSU at Arkansas. LSU coming off their breakthrough performance under Brian Kelly. Jane Daniels looking good. The defense playing well. They're at Arkansas. Guys, I don't want to sound like a hater or anything like that. This just seems like the typical game Brian Kelly would lose. We'll see. Maybe they can win it. They are in total control right now of the SEC West. They would have to lose 2 games for Alabama to make the SEC championship. But this is a situation where Arkansas, even though they lost to Liberty, it's just like, I don't think LSU is really all that better than Arkansas. And when you get these college games, weird things tend to happen. It's the reality of it. Arkansas is at home. They've got KJ Jefferson. I don't know, man. I mean, listen, guys, I really don't even have to sell this upset. LSU is only a field goal favorite. It just feels like a game for LSU after putting everything into that home performance against Bama, coming away with the 1-point victory, the 2-point conversion. Now you're on the road at a decent opponent in a noon window. That spells trouble to me. I don't know, guys. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. We will see what happens, but I will take Arkansas just based on how crazy college football is and the overall vibe I'm getting from LSU right now. I'll take Arkansas to win this one, but I do have respect for LSU. That was a great win last week. Next, we have Purdue at Illinois, so I'm not even sure Illinois will remain ranked, so I will pick this game very quickly. Illinois sitting right now, 6.5-point favorites. Guys, the play in this game is the under 47. I was shocked when I saw that was the number. I thought the over-under in this game would have been 42 or 43. Purdue simply cannot score. Illinois is at home. I like them in this game. They're going to run the ball. They're going to get back on track. They will win. I don't know if they'll cover the 7-point spread or 6.5. I do know the under in this game will hit because that is an 11 a.m. Central Standard Time game. Next, we have Louisville on the road at Clemson. So this line opened at 7.5. It got bet down to 7. That's very smart, guys. I'm just not buying Clemson this year. And whether Louisville wins this game outright or they keep it close, to me, Clemson's offense is just broken. Whether they start DJ or not, they're just not that good. They're not as good as their record says they are. They're a decent team. They're a talented roster. But there's just something missing with Clemson. Louisville really is playing better defense. They just shut down James Madison. This is a road game for them. I don't know, guys. I am just not feeling Clemson at all this year. I feel like their inability to create explosive plays really hurts them. And the quarterback situation is so bad. You just have to roll with one of them. You can't do this thing where you start DJ and everyone knows. Like that Notre Dame game, everyone knew DJ would be benched by the third quarter. We knew that before the game started. So it's just so unhealthy right now for Clemson, and I think Louisville builds off their momentum. Their defense is good. Their ability to rush the passer, that could pay dividends if they do start. Clemson starts the true freshman, inexperienced QB. I'll take Louisville outright as 7-point underdogs. Next, we have Nebraska on the road at Michigan. This is a 3:30 game on, I believe this is the Fox game. I believe it goes Indiana, Ohio State, and then this is the second part of the doubleheader. But normally Fox has like 4 games, so it's normally a quadruple header on Saturday. But it is Nebraska at Michigan. Crazy spread here. Michigan minus 29. And guys, I think Michigan easily wins this game. Nebraska simply does not have a good enough offense. Michigan's a very sound team. They're not going to get upset against a team like Nebraska at home. They're a no-nonsense program. We have to respect Michigan, even in a game against Rutgers where, you had the fluky punt block for a touchdown. They were able to right the ship and annihilate Rutgers in the second half. That's what really good teams do. Michigan, we respect it. They're really good. They're really sound. They've got a really good offensive line. They're going to win this game very easily. I really am not interested in betting a 29.5 point spread on Michigan, though. It's just too much to me. Alabama at Ole Miss. So this is hilarious. Alabama listed as 11.5 point favorites. I'm sure the general public is finding great value in Ole Miss, kind of like last week how we all found great value in Tennessee against Georgia, right? So guys, I'm zigging when everyone else is zagging. I think Alabama covers this spread somehow. They win 46-31. Just because this is college football, everyone is saying this is great for Ole Miss. It's going to be a close game. And what do you know? The exact opposite happens. It's the same thing that happened with Tennessee and Georgia. It's like, man, Tennessee +8. It's going to be the game of the year. It's 1v2, and Georgia wins, and the under hits. So, you know what? We're not casuals. We're seeing what's going to happen, guys. Alabama's going to win this game. They're off. Listen, Alabama has not looked great this year. But both of their losses were against good teams on the road. I think Ole Miss is worse than both LSU. I mean, listen, LSU crushed Ole Miss. And I also think Ole Miss is significantly worse than Tennessee. So I'll take Bama here. Ole Miss is due for another loss. Their record is inflated a little bit. They've had a pretty weak SEC schedule. If you look at it, I'll take Bama to cover on the road. Kind of Alabama and Nick Saban's house of horrors. So guys, I will say, there are a lot of people rooting for Alabama to lose this game. Because it's one thing if Alabama has 2 losses and whatever, that's not a great season. If Alabama loses this game and gets 3 losses and they're out of a New Year's Six Bowl before the Iron Bowl happens, people will go crazy. There's going to be a lot. I know everyone's happy Alabama's already out of the playoffs, but there is a lot of people that want Alabama they're going to be rooting against Alabama. It'll be interesting. Next, we have Maryland at Penn State, a 3:30 game. Kind of a little funny rivalry here with Maryland and Penn State. Penn State fans hate when you say that because they don't view Maryland as a rivalry. But Penn State sitting -12. And guys, Penn State's a really good football team. I'm getting a massive over vibe in this game. I think it's going to be very sunny. The sun's going to be setting. We're going to see a ton of points scored. Maryland had a horrible offensive performance last week. They're due to score some points, but Penn State is such a good football team. They're going to win this game. They're going to cover the spread, and the over is going to hit, guys. It's that simple. Next, we have UCF traveling to Tulane. This comes down to UCF's starting quarterback's health. We'll see if Plumlee, the Ole Miss transfer, is healthy. But guys, we have come too far on UCF football to give up now. We've simply come too far. Tulane's a little bit of a fraud. They actually should have lost to Tulsa last week if Tulsa's starting quarterback had played. Their offense isn't as good as people think. Little bit of a fraud. I'll take UCF on the road. UCF, this has been my team. I've said they should be in the top 25 for weeks. They will prove me right. They'll get a massive road win. It is going to be so uplifting, and I'm going to, honestly, I might cry a little bit if they win this game. It'll be so great for everyone. Next, we have Boston College traveling to NC State. Guys, I give NC State a ton of credit for what they did going to MJ Morris, the offense getting kick-started. They've got such a great defense, and I think this is kind of a weirder score, 31-12. I just get a vibe of it, but a 3:30 game. NC State, so much respect for their program after Devin Leary suffers the injury. He's out for the year. They've really righted the ship. I give them a lot of credit. They're going to win this game against the bad Boston College team, 31-12. I think 19.5 is a tough number to cover. I would stay away from it personally. Moving to the night slate, we've got the number 1 team in the nation, Georgia, on the road at Mississippi State. Right now, Georgia trending around -16.5. And guys, I just think Mississippi State, when you are one-dimensional and you face a defense like Georgia, you simply can't win. I would love nothing more than Mississippi State to be competitive in this football game because they are a team that's decent and they are at home. They're going to be revved up. They're facing the number one team. But when you're one-dimensional, when you have a Ponzi scheme, air raid offense, and you can't run the ball, and you face a defense like Georgia, I mean, my God, guys, it's just so... Originally, I wanted to pick Mississippi State to win this game, but I just started thinking about it, and it's just Georgia is too good. They're too good. There's too many deficiencies that Mississippi State has, in my opinion. The game against Auburn, the defense was not good. I'll take Georgia on the road to get it done and remain number one. Unless Ohio State drops an 80 burger, then I would put Ohio State at number one. But they have to drop an 80 burger. Next, we have Washington on the road at Oregon. Really fun game. Guys, embrace it. There's going to be tons of points scored in it. Let's just embrace the points. That's what I'm doing. I've got it at 48-41. I'm going with Oregon. But guys, Oregon's defensive metrics are not good. We know Washington, they're not great on defense, but they can throw the ball. Pac-12 games, they've been shootouts this year. Let's embrace it. We've got around 90 total points scored in this one. And I've got Oregon winning, but Washington covering the 12-point spread. Next, we have Kansas State at Baylor. And guys, this is another team, Baylor football. We've come too far. I can't pick against them. We've simply come too far. Trust Baylor football at home. This team needs to be ranked immediately. This is an SOS. They're so good. All the analytics love them. They will beat Kansas State at home. Such a sound team. Really good coach. TCU at Texas. Texas sitting 7-point favorites, guys. I do think this is the week TCU goes down, but I will say I like them to cover the 7-point spread. You know, it could be one of those things, again, kind of like last week with Texas and Kansas State, where it's like, how is Kansas State 2.5-point home underdogs? Well, then Texas wins and covers the spread. But I do think TCU will cover. 7 points is too much. TCU's been too good this year. Unfortunately for TCU, they play these really close games. They seem to be down in the third quarter of every game. At some point, that's going to come back to bite them. This is the week I think it does. It evens out. There's so much parity in the Big 12, except for TCU, who is the one team that's, still undefeated. Everyone else, seems to lose. Texas has 3 losses. In my opinion, they're not going to go to 4 losses. They're going to get this win and push TCU to 1 loss by 1 point. I will say that would set up an interesting conversation if TCU does win out, with their only loss being a road loss that was a 1-point loss to Texas. That would be interesting. Next, we've got a little ACC tussle. It's North Carolina traveling to Wake Forest. And guys, JFK once said, give me liberty or give me parity. This is 1,000% a parity game. North Carolina's been so good this year. Not good on defense. Parity game. They're due for a loss. This will be their second loss. This is another game. Everyone is so surprised. Wake Forest, a 3.5-point favorite. They can't run the ball. Guys, this is how it works in college football. You got to zig when everyone zags. Wake Forest will win this game and cover the 3.5-point spread. We've got FSU at Syracuse. I'm just going to run through this. Syracuse probably, they shouldn't be ranked. I don't know if they will. Maybe FSU will be ranked by the committee. We will see. FSU's a really good team. They get my respect. Syracuse can't throw the ball. It's as simple as that. Next, we have Stanford. Oh, these are the nightcap games. Stanford at Utah. Guys, I love David Shaw. He is such an inspiration. He is amongst the college football coaching legends of the sport. He's an absolute superstar. But sometimes you run into a team that's on a total warpath. And that's what this Utah team is. It's going to get ugly. I like the under 53, and I like Utah to win this game. How about Stanford getting annihilated at home last week to Washington State and giving up a 40-burger in the first half? Guys, Utah's impressive. They're going to win this game easily. And then the final game of the night, the 10:30 game, Arizona at UCLA. Embrace the points. Extreme high-scoring game, guys. Don't hate it. Just embrace it. embrace the points. 52-34. UCLA wins. The over-under in this game, I think, is 77. UCLA and Chip Kelly, they are one of the best offenses in college football. And I'm loving what's going on right now with the Pac-12 and all this scoring. This is great. But guys, that is going to do it for this video. My official college football week number 11 picks and predictions. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.